It's now been 12 months since we bought our 2022 BT50. Now since buying this, we've placed over 50,000 kilometers on this rig, so we've got a pretty good insight of just what works and what doesn't. What we're going to go through today is a 1-year extensive review on what we've found that we like about the BT50 and things that we've found that we definitely do not like. Now modern cars come with all kinds of bells and whistles. For someone who's come from an old GU Patrol, some of it gets a little bit irritating, so things like lane control, brake assist, all that stuff, in my opinion, is probably a little bit too overbearing. Even with adjustments, the braking in particular, and the way it just brakes randomly when it thinks there's something in front of you, probably gets a little bit dangerous, if nothing else at times. We've been driving on roads that have dips and stuff like that, and it is thought that there's a car stopped in front of us and it's jammed on the brakes. Now, if you're not used to the sound of ABS braking, that alone can actually frighten you a fair bit, and if anything is more dangerous than whatever the car thinks is in front of it. Now, another issue that I've read a fair bit about online is wheel alignment issues with this BT50. Now, quite clearly we've fitted the bull bar to the front, which is going to add to these sort of issues, especially because we haven't got around to doing the suspension lift yet. However, it has been very bad. We've actually completely ruined our original tyre off the front left, which is now our spare. Luckily for us, we're about to do the suspension and the tyres in the coming weeks, so that'll no longer be an issue for us. One thing I was disappointed with was having this serviced by Mazda and Mazda only. I would have thought their servicing would have been on par with exactly what's supposed to be done. A couple of services ago, they were supposed to rotate the tyres, check the tyres, etc, etc. We've actually got a nail in one of our tyres, and that tyre stayed in exactly the same place it was, which means they did not rotate those tyres, and I can pretty much guarantee they also didn't balance them. That's probably going to add to these issues that we've had as far as scrubbing our tyres and stuff like that. And it's potentially also an issue why other people are reporting that they're having wheel alignment issues and stuff like that with their BT50 if the dealership is cutting corners. Now overall, the interior quality of the BT50 has actually been really good. There's been no issues with rattly dashes or other sort of issues that I have seen people talk about online. One thing, and everyone will have this problem, whether it's the DMAX or the BT50, is the depth of the cup holders. I don't know who designed these, but give yourself an uppercut. Absolute terrible job. I've got this empty Coke can here just to demonstrate, show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if I place this in here, you can see that that is basically to the top. There is actually a little spacer in there already, so it'll actually be worse now. So it's pretty much flush with the top. If you're driving, you've pretty much got to pick it up by the top of the can, and it's even worse if you've got a coffee. If you've got a small coffee, good luck to you, it's just not going to happen. This here is the fix that we sort of came up with, and I think a couple of other people are using this as well. So this is just one of your little cup holder air fresheners. Just allows us to pop that in the bottom there and then give us that little bit of extra space there so we can actually lift what it is. Now, something that's the most noticeable at the back here under the tray on the chassis is the poor paint preparation that's gone on. Particularly around welds and stuff like that, it seems super common on all cars now. Basically, as soon as you give it one wash, whether it's low pressure water or high pressure, it doesn't seem to matter. The paint over the weld starts to flake off. Sometimes even on the chassis, even on the diffs and stuff like that. The preparation is obviously not very good, so it's not lasting at all. The paintwork on the BT50 is faring very well. It's quite common now, especially cars that are built in Japan and other colder climates, as the paint doesn't really work that well in the Australian climate. The extra heat, it's not really designed for it. It tends to go pretty pear-shaped. I've seen other cars in the past that after about 6 to 12 months, they will start to fade and show the fact that the paint's not designed for that hot climate. So like I said, the BT50 paint is doing really well. Still has a nice gloss to it. It's never been polished since we've owned it. Now overall, we're pretty happy with the BT50. To have done over 50,000 kilometers in 12 months is something that a lot of other cars probably would have struggled to do. The build quality overall is pretty good. We don't really have any dramas with anything mechanical. Now, although we've had it for 12 months, we did have big plans to smash out a lot of this build pretty quickly when we first got it. However, we aren't made of money. Like a lot of you guys, we do have to work pretty hard that we can have all these sort of toys. So over the coming weeks, however, this thing is about to see a lot of changes. So it's going to get a lot higher, bigger tires, aftermarket wheels, hopefully some side steps and a couple of other bits and pieces. Stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see us finally finally start to convert BT50 into a beautiful off-road vehicle.